Have you ever wondered if we were truly alone? For most of human history, we weren't. We shared this planet with another kind of human, a close relative who walked the earth for hundreds of thousands of years before vanishing into the mists of time. They were the Neanderthals. Forget the brutish, club-wielding caveman stereotype. The real story of the Neanderthals is far more complex and fascinating. They were not our direct ancestors, but rather our cousins, a parallel branch on the great family tree of humanity. For millennia, our paths intertwined, and the legacy of that meeting is written in our very DNA. So, who were they really? How did they live? And why did they disappear while we, Homo sapiens, went on to conquer the world? Join me as we journey back in time to meet our forgotten brothers and sisters. Let's travel back to the Ice Age, a world of vast glaciers and sweeping tundras. This was the Neanderthals' domain. Their bodies were a masterpiece of evolution, perfectly adapted to a cold, harsh environment. They were shorter and stockier than us, with a powerful barrel-chested build that helped conserve heat. Their skulls were different, two longer and lower, with a prominent brow ridge and a large nose, which likely helped to warm and humidify the frigid air they breathed. In fact, their brains were, on average, even larger than ours. Bigger doesn't necessarily mean smarter in the way we think of it, but it certainly dispels the myth of the dim-witted brute. So, how did they use those big brains? Neanderthal life was a masterclass in survival. They were apex predators, skilled hunters who could take down massive prey like mammoths, woolly rhinos, and giant deer. Imagine tracking a beast the size of a bus through a frozen landscape. This wasn't a reckless charge. It required intelligence, planning, and teamwork. Archaeological evidence shows they used sophisticated stone tools, including finely crafted spears. These weren't clumsy clubs, they were precision instruments. They would likely ambush their prey, using their muscular bodies to thrust spears at close range, a dangerous but effective strategy. But their lives weren't just about the hunt. We have found evidence that Neanderthals lived in small, close-knit family groups, likely in caves or rock shelters. They controlled fire, a crucial technology for warmth, cooking, and protection from predators. Cooking their food not only made it easier to digest, but also unlocked more nutrients, fueling their large brains and powerful bodies. We've discovered hearths in their caves, ancient campfires where families would gather, share food, and perhaps even tell stories under the flickering light. This was a home, a center of community and culture. And what a culture it was! For a long time, we thought art and symbolism were unique to Homo sapiens. We were wrong. In caves across Europe, we have found clear evidence of Neanderthal creativity. They used pigments like red ochre, possibly for body painting. They collected eagle talons and shells, drilling holes in them to be worn as pendants or ornaments. This wasn't just for survival. It was an expression of identity, of beauty, of something more. In one Spanish cave, Archaeologists discovered cave paintings, simple lines and dots that predate the arrival of modern humans in Europe by at least 20,000 years. The artists could only have been Neanderthals. This fundamentally changes our understanding of them. They had a sense of the symbolic, the abstract. They had art. Perhaps the most touching evidence of their humanity lies in how they treated their dead. At sites like Shanidar Cave in Iraq, we found Neanderthal skeletons that were intentionally buried. One individual, known as Shanidar I, had suffered multiple serious injuries in his life. He was partially blind, had a withered arm, and walked with a limp. Yet he lived to a relatively old age. This would have been impossible without the constant care and support of his group. They didn't abandon him, they cared for him. This is empathy. This is compassion. In another burial, pollen analysis suggested that the body might have been laid to rest on a bed of flowers. While this is still debated by scientists, the simple act of intentional burial itself speaks volumes. It suggests they had rituals, a sense of loss, and perhaps even a belief in an afterlife. They mourned their loved ones just as we do. So, if they were so intelligent, so adaptable, and so human, where did they all go? This is one of the greatest mysteries in paint. Around 40,000 years ago, after surviving for hundreds of thousands of years through multiple ice ages, the Neanderthals vanish from the fossil record. Their disappearance coincides with the arrival of a new group of humans moving out of Africa, our own species, Homo sapiens. There isn't a single, simple answer to why they disappeared. It was likely a combination of factors. One major theory points to climate change. The end of the last ice age brought rapid and dramatic environmental shifts. The vast open plains they were adapted to hunt in were replaced by dense forests. Their traditional prey either moved or died out. While Neanderthals were adaptable, Homo sapiens, with a more varied diet and perhaps more versatile tools, may have coped with these changes more effectively. Competition was almost certainly a factor. Imagine two highly intelligent human species competing for the same resources, the same caves, the same animals, the same plants. Homo sapiens might have had a slight edge. We lived in larger social groups, allowing for more extensive networks of trade and support. Our hunting technology might have been different, perhaps incorporating long-range projectile weapons like spear throwers, which would have been less risky than the Neanderthals' close-quarters hunting style. A small advantage, multiplied over thousands of years, could have been decisive. But it wasn't all conflict. The most incredible discovery of recent years comes from genetics. Scientists have successfully sequenced the Neanderthal genome, and when they compared it to ours, they found something astonishing. Most people today of non-African descent have between 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA in their genome. This is undeniable proof that our ancestors didn't just compete with Neanderthals, they also interbred with them. We met, we coexisted, and we had children together. The story wasn't just one of replacement, it was also one of assimilation. So, in a very real sense, the Neanderthals never truly vanished. A small part of them lives on inside us. Their genes may influence everything from our immune systems to our hair and skin. They are a part of our story, a ghost in our machine. Their legacy is a powerful reminder that our own journey has been complex and intertwined with others, and that the line separating us from them is often blurrier than we think. They were not a failed experiment or an evolutionary dead end. They were a successful, intelligent, and resilient form of human who thrived for an immense span of time. Their story is a crucial chapter in the grand saga of humanity, a tale of survival, creativity, and ultimately of a family reunion written in our very DNA. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into our deep past. If you found this as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries of our world. Let me know in the comments what you think happened to the Neanderthals. Until next time, stay curious.